Good afternoon, namaste, lovely lights. Welcome to a grounding through the root chakra. Root chakra, do you know about your chakras? We have these 7 energy sources, and the root chakra starts all the way down at our base, and like roots of the tree. Our root chakra roots us down into the earth. I'm going to read you a little bit from Lulin's little book of Chakra by Cindy Adele. So the Sanskrit name for the first chakra in Hindu is Muladhara. Muladhara combines mule, which is the base, and the ahara, which is the support, which basically roots us down through everyday life. It's at the base of the spine, and it relates to the sacroiliac nerve plexus and is typically described as being found in the hips or groin area. It's a red color, so when we think of our root chakra, it is our trusting chakra, and we relate it to red, and it's associated with the adrenals, which regulate our response to stress. So how stressed out are you? Let's tune into that. The body parts of the Muladhara are the hips, bones, muscles, joints, coccygeal vertebrae, bladder, anus, rectum, large intestines in general, the elimination system, and the lower extremities. Our safety and security. It is our ability to feel safe and secure. However, it relates to knowing that we deserve to exist. So when our needs aren't met as a child, the basic feelings of fear, anger, sadness, joy, and disgust can easily transform into abandonment, terror, despair, shame, guilt, and an unrequited yearning. So the positive archetype is the mother, the maternal energy of love, nourishment, and compassion. The negative archetype is the victim, whose self-pity draws others into a web of manipulation. So we'll just stay there. So join me, I know that was a little longer, for a balancing, rooting into the earth and feeling what it feels like to open our chakra, our root chakra. I love you so much, and allow yourself to free yourself from judgment. Come with an open heart and an open root chakra. Oh, and by the way, I am Shelly. I keep forgetting to say that. I am Shelly, and I created this for you. This is called Yoga Bliss. B is for believe in yourself. B-L, how do you spell bliss? B-L-L is love yourself. I is set an intention and an intuition for this practice, following that intuitive center, that gut instinct, that third eye. And S is for a spirit. We are all spirits living this human experience in sacred space. This home practice is your sacred space to be yourself, be your authentic self. As we settle into the easy pose Sukhasana, moving your sit bones around. The sit bones are what help root us down into the earth. On the next inhale, elongating your spine. And if you have a yoga block, that would be a helper. And if you don't have a yoga block, you can always use a stack of books. Probably if they're small books, I would get like probably 5 books if you have a stack of books. And if not, that's okay. If you have a bucket or something, or if not, you can use your body. Inhaling as we root down into this moment, feeling those sit bones resting on the earth, or if you have a pillow, feeling them resting down. Inhaling the color red inside, imagining closing your eyes, rolling back the shoulders, elongating the spine, breathing red deep into the body, allowing it to flow in organically and release organically. In this moment, observing your breath, just simply allowing it to come in and out. As we speak about breath, you may notice your breath quicken. It may soften. It may become more difficult once you think of it. Allow yourself to let it go. To bring us all together, chanting Om, just Om, O-M, the primordial sound of the universe, to bring us together. And breathing deeply in and allowing that air to flow, and imagining that red coming in and shooting down into that root chakra, which is located down at the base of the spine. The root chakra is down low. So breathing that color in, breathing in, and you can sit in silence and you can transmute the Om internally, or you can project it to the environment. Drop your jaw, let go of judgment. Breathe into the root chakra. Allow your body to let free. Breathe in. Bringing your hands to the heart center, and then allowing them to rest down by that root chakra. Breathing in and imagining red as we root down into the earth. And as we set an intention for this practice, take a deep breath. Your intention can be whatever you would like it to be. Or your intention could be opening the root chakra. Our culture in America is where I live. We do not acknowledge our energy sources. And what happens when we get a lot of illnesses and diseases is we are shutting down and closing off our energy sources. So say a traumatic event happens, or somebody said something to you which told you that it wasn't okay in this world, that it wasn't okay to trust people in this world. You shut down and you cause all this pain and diseases in your life. My intention is setting to open my root chakra so I can be open to trusting and open to accepting. On the next inhale, breathing the arms straight up into the sky. Resting the arms back for a nice soft spinal twist. Breathing deeply down into that root chakra. Exhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhaling, arms down, rotating the shoulders to the side. Inhaling in, interlacing the fingers, stretching straight out and straight up into the sky. Stretching from one side, compressing one side and elongating the other. Breathing 3 deep breaths down low into that root chakra. And every time you breathe, you can just hold that color of red, inhaling up to neutral spine, rolling the arms out, exhaling. My laundry sounds like helicopters taking out. Exhaling to the opposite side. Still keeping integrity of that spine in the lower sections while we're moving up on the shoulders, elongating to the side, stretching to the side, coming back to the center, allowing arms to fall down to the side. Spring like fireworks. Coming over, rotating onto the heels of the feet. As a request, I had a request for Vajrasan variation. This is the pose that helps aid in digestion. It's known as the hero pose, the thunderbolt. And what you do is you touch your big toes together, dropping out the heels and settling down and rooting up through that body. But if your frame, if your body doesn't allow you to do that, finding that slow angle, so lining up like that's what you're going for, but crossing one foot over that midline and allowing this foot to cross over top of the other and settling down. It's important to tune into what feels good to the hips. If the hips are feeling off kilter, you can use a pillow to put under your sit bones too, so you can get the benefits of this. And you're actually rooting down through the top of your one foot. And you can stay here. For my body, it doesn't feel right, but what's right for me, what's right for you may be different. So give this a try. Lifting up and changing to the other side if you need to, crisscrossing, keeping that foot at an angle, and crossing over the other one, and sitting back either on your pillow or on top. For me, that feels different, but it might feel good for you. Do what feels good. Rooting down into those knees. Warming up the spine as we root in through our hands. And we root in through our knees. Rooting, feeling what it feels like to power through hands, starfish hands. Powering through the tips of the feet and through the knees. Cowing, catting. Allowing that spine to grow and shrink. Stretching tail to chin up to the sky. Feeling that journey of the spine slowly rolling and rocking. Feeling what it feels like in your body if your arms are chicken winging out or your knees are going too far out. Tuning into the alignment of your body. In yoga, we have these 3 bandhas. The first one for women is where women do kegels in between our vagina and our anus. Then it's testicles, anus. The second bandha is right here on this tummy area, if you can squeeze and move that. And the third is here. Tuning into those bandhas, giving them a little zipperoni. The bandhas are also locks, and when we can lock those, we create so much more energy and strength through that core of our body, the midline of our body. Tuning in here. Exhaling, rolling that spine up, finding a few free movements, rolling the spine back and forth, rooting down into the earth, tuning into that root chakra. We're rooting into the earth, imagining our little roots are slowly penetrating into the soil, growing, maybe moving back and forth, side to side. If the tops of your feet were down, allowing yourself to point back up. Pressing your hands slightly forward for a downward facing dog. Walking out the feet, feeling what it feels like to root down here. Making sure your chest isn't so far down like a plank or a push-up. Pushing, feeling the earth support you as you are pushing back on the earth. But in a nice collaborative effort. We're not fighting here. Walking out the feet. Maybe finding a few free movements here. Tucking and moving the leg. Feeling free to move as we're rooted. Foot by foot. Twisting and coming down on one side.
With the sprinkler?
No, not right now.
To like water the plants?
Well, not right now. Twisting on the opposite side. Bringing knees to the opposite side. Powering up through the arms. You better move your butt outside. Twisting the knees to the opposite side, bringing down, feeling the side stretch, finding a free movement, using the power of those arms, keeping a soft bend in the arms, tuning in. Inhaling up the right leg, high up into the sky, finding a nice midline cross, tucking that knee and that chin up together as we root up to the sky with the opposite foot, finding 3 of these powering, flowing motions. Inhaling up, exhaling, inhaling. On the next inhale, inhaling up to a runner's lunge. You can stay down on this knee. If you have a pillow or a blanket, you're more than welcome to put that under the knee. And if it feels good to have an option, you can stay down here. Or if you're feeling stronger and steady, if you want to stay down, you can collapse the top of that foot and feel what it feels like here. Elongating the arms to a T. Moving the arms up to the ceiling, finding a nice dynamic cactus. Squeezing those shoulder blades in together. If you're feeling a little more powerful, squeezing the thighs together, powering up those bandhas. Inhaling. Cactus arm, rooting down to the feet. Exhaling. Inhaling, arms straight up to the ceiling. Exhaling down, feeling the dynamicness of this movement. Exhaling up to the sky. Inhaling down. On the next exhale, Powering up, rotating that outer hip, keeping the front leg facing the short edge of the mat, and the back leg facing the back side of the mat, moving whatever props out of the way. Feeling your stance in between the legs. That felt too long for me. Feeling what it feels like to elongate. Finding Virabhadrasana 2, feeling powerful in this rooted motion, rooting through the 4 points of our feet, lifting through the arches, elongating the arms, checking into that front foot. When you peek down, seeing that very bits of the toe, the big toe, is a great spot to be. When you go too far back, and that might be good for you to stay up here. If that feels good, you can stay here. If you're going too far forward, you're messing with the alignment of the foot and the ankle and the knee. Tuning into what feels good for your body, but also tuning into ergonomically correct. Checking into the outer hip if it's falling in or rotating out, keeping those arms strong. Finding a few free movements. Breathing in as we're rooting down, breathing in red, swimming through a sea of red. Opening that root chakra, really allowing ourselves to trust ourselves. And it's important to be yourself, your authentic self. So be a little silly. Yoga is beautiful. It has been performed for years upon years, but it's also okay to switch it up and just be yourself. Move the shoulders around. Coming back, straightening out that front knee, elongating the arm for a nice counter. And bending at the knee, going straight down for a reverse Warrior. Inhaling, exhaling, rooting, exhaling, bringing that front knee down, elongating those arms, tuning into the front knee and what it feels good. Putting that block on that inner foot, feeling that stretch of that T, feeling what it feels like to move at the shoulders versus at the hips. Moving at that hip, coming down. If you have that block, you can sit up on that block. If it feels like you can go a little bit lower. Or you can also sit up here in this knee. Using that block modification, elongating that arm straight up. Stretching it overhead. Feeling the softness and the buoyancy in that hind leg, that hind hip. Releasing as we're rooting and grounding into the earth. Powering up. Breathing into the heart center. 3 deep Ujjayi breaths, the upper chest breathing. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Out deeply through the nose. In deeply. Feel rooted and strong, using your strength. Breathing in, strength. Exhaling, strength. Exhaling, moving up to the legs, allowing yourself a mini break. Powering through. Tuning both feet forward. Checking into the hips. Rotating the hips. Feeling a little free movement. Hinging forward at the hips, coming forward for a forward fold. This is the shoe copy. Tuning into what feels good. If you have that block and it feels good to stay up, or if it feels good to stay on the hips, tuning into what feels good. A soft bend in the knees. Tuning in that the feet are both facing the wall. Go to the back here, please. Okay. I took everything out of the part. Go outside. Tuning into the hips and the knees and what feels good. If you can, allowing those arms to drop, or maybe you can come down further and really feeling rooted through the 4 points of the feet. Rooting through, skiing out those legs side to side. Moving and feeling grounded from each point. Maybe elongating the arms, stretching out to one side or the other side, and finding a movement that feels good for you. Or maybe it's just staying static on the hips, feeling what it feels like. Rotating up, circular movements. Up. We kind of just keep it on our own. Beautiful work. Tuning back into the other foot. Left foot facing the front end of the mat. Right foot facing the other edge. Powering through the arms. Bending over that knee, tuning in. Down, seeing where that big toe is. Seeing where the knee is. Checking into the foot, the knee, the ankle, the hip. This hip, keeping it pulled out. Peeling open like it's a book. Opening your book up and wide. And finding maybe a nice dynamic movement of cactus arm, cactusing up to the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades together, cactusing, powering arms up to the ceiling, squeezing those shoulder blades back together, pushing up, powering through, tuning into that hind leg with a soft bend in the knee, cactusing arms, elongating the arms, allowing yourself to feel what it feels like right here in this moment. On the next exhale, grabbing for that block, reaching for that opposite knee, coming down, powering through that opposite hip, rotating the opposite hip up and the arm up, or if it feels good, staying in the block, or moving down to the ground for a nice side or laterally stretching, feeling that other hip open, feeling what it feels like to stretch and root up by that. Exhaling up into the body. Heel, toe, I love you too. Heel, toe, feeling what it feels like right here. I love you. You may go play outside maybe later. Feeling what it feels like to be rooted down for a grounding, balancing Ardha Chakrasana, the half moon pose. If you have a lovely block, a block would be your friend. For this, in beginning with our right foot, facing the short edge of the mat, powering down here and using this block. Mine's a cord block, so it's a little bit heavier. And this is that half moon pose. You can just take a moment where you power down onto the block and you release one arm and one leg. But that can be tricky to go right into, to dive straight into that. So what we can do is feel the grounding through the right foot, tune into the ankle and the knee if it's wobbling out, and feeling what it feels like to just take off. Does your balance go? Are you taking off? In yoga, we have something called a drishti, which is the focal point. So a lot to think of. Those bandhas, get out of the thinking mind. This is about feeling. Get into your feeling body. Drishti, or just a visual point, just tuning into something. So I'm just looking at this little line in my floor. The easiest way to focus is down. When you are looking straight out or up is when it gets more intense. So unless you have this half moon pose, keep that drishti spot low. So take off 3 more times on your own. Feel where you would land. Feel your hip. Is this hip turning out, turning in? You actually do want this hip to turn out and this foot to turn out. On the next exhale, guiding with our block, at that drishti, staring straight down, dropping that block and allowing that back leg to rotate up, peeling that hip open like a book, keeping that drishti in the same spot, allowing the arm and the leg to open up, breathing in deeply. If you're feeling powerful or wobbly, it's fine. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. Getting past that little drishti and moving slowly. I'm slowly scanning up, powering up through that foot, grounded into the earth, opening that root chakra, allowing myself to feel grounded. And looking here feels good and beautiful. And if you get a little wobbly, that's okay. Inhaling deeply in, all the way, breathing that breath into that root chakra. Exhaling. Soft bend the elbow. Keep strong and powered. Keep that drishti focused. Let it go. Exhaling that arm down, allowing that leg to fall down. Coming forward, allowing yourself to bend up and wiggle it out. Woo, hard work. Good job. Beautiful work. I know that one can be a tough one, and it's more of like a mind game than it is of anything else. So rolling it out, feeling what it feels like. Good job. And if you are wobbly, don't judge yourself, please. I have my days, I have my moments where I'm completely wobbly and I fall over. And it's more of getting out of the mind and surrendering to what is, surrendering to this moment. Using the opposite leg, I'm moving on to my left, whatever leg you're on. And doing that same thing, powering down through those 4 points of the foot, front 2, back 2. Maybe lifting up the toes, pressing them down, baby toe, ring finger, middle, pointer, big one. Powering up, feeling that arch lift. Even if your arch is minimal, that's fine. Just letting that go. Allowing ourselves to use that block and feel what it feels like to take off. Feel where those feet are. Feel where that foot is. Allowing yourself to take off. Give yourself 3 more takeoffs. Take off. Imagine, visualize yourself landing right where you want to land with this hand a little bit out, a little bit on the outer edge of that opposite foot. Finding your drishti, that vocal. I keep saying vocal. Maybe we should say drishti. Coming on down. On the next exhale, planting, staring at that visual spot, allowing that leg and that hip to open up like a book, peeling up, making sure that the arm isn't posted too far out. When it's posted too far out, the balance definitely gets compromised. Power toes forward point, feeling the strength of the leg, checking into the knee and the upper thigh, working that upper thigh, that outer glute and the leg are working so hard. Your body is elongated. You are the moon and the moon is you. Beautiful work. Breathe deeply into the heart center. Breathing in, surrender. Exhaling, surrender. Breathing in 3 more surrenders at your own rate. Beautiful work. Surrendering. Let it go. Let it go. Exhale that arm down to the side. Allow that leg to drop down. Ooh, feel the good burn. Coming up, releasing. Woo. Allowing yourself maybe to crouch down into a little ball and give yourself maybe a little mini child's pose. Maybe you need a little bit of a break, and this is okay. Feeling rooted down, taking a little break. Good work. You are amazing. Breathing into the back side of the heart. Maybe resting your arms on the top of your head. Acknowledging how much work you just did, how it takes a lot to truly surrender. Letting it all go. Breathing in acceptance. Exhaling acceptance. Inhaling, coming up on top to that Vajrasan, that hero's pose. Crossing those feet if that's what feels good. Taking a moment to feel what it feels like here. Feeling the beat of your heart. Feeling the strength that you created. Wow, you're powerful. When you can allow yourself to let go, feel just what it feels like in this moment without judging yourself. Beautifully worked. I acknowledge you and acknowledge yourself. Hands on the heart, breathing in love and compassion for yourself. Exhaling love and compassion to all of your spaces. The next inhale, walking those arms up to tabletop, walking out. We don't want to stay down too long and feel like we're cooling off. Exhaling up into our downward dog. Powering up here. Feeling what it feels like to feel good. Lifting that left leg, empowering that into the nose. That left leg, empowering it into the nose. That left leg, bringing it up. And tucking it as high up as you can get it. Don't judge yourself. Allowing that other leg to power up the other one. And finding a nice little forward fold, sweeping those arms. Grabbing maybe that little block. And sweeping up. Rolling the spine. Coming back up. Feeling what it feels like here in Tadasana. Rooting down through all 4 points of the feet. Checking into those 4.2 front, 2 back. Rooting down through all 4 points of the feet. Feeling what it feels like here to be supported by the earth. Powering up, rolling the shoulders back, elongating the spine, shining the heart through all corners of the room. Feeling powerful and rooted as we are opening our chakra, opening and connecting. Tuning into our body as we tuning into our body for a Natarajasana, the dancer's pose. Tuning in to the right foot and the left foot rooting down to the earth, feeling those 4 points of the feet connect, elongating the spine. Putting your opposite hand up, left hand up, like, can I have some more water, please? Hand out to the side. Powering down, elongating through the spine, rolling the shoulders back, and grabbing for that back leg. Feeling what it feels like to power on that ankle. And if you're feeling wobbly, like we did that takeoff before, feel what it feels like before we take off for our dancer's pose. Exhaling, the opposite arm straight up, stretching to the sky. Inhaling, bringing that leg up as far as feels good. Squeezing that shoulder blade in, peeling the shoulder blades away from each other. And if it feels good to stay up here, you may stay up here. If it feels good, you can move down, low. Surrendering, letting go. Letting go, finding that drishti. Exhaling up. Woo. Feeling that move. Body. Feels really amazing. It definitely gives you a lot more energy breathing in the body. Exhaling, tuning back into mountain. Settling down, wiggling out a little bit. Inhaling, tuning into the opposite foot. Putting the opposite arm out. Please, can we have some more? Asking, okay, foot, it's ready. Yes, it's ready. It's time. Grabbing that opposite ankle. Powering through the 4 points of the foot, tuning into the ankle and the knee. Tuning in if the knee is popping out or if the hip is popping out. Tightening up. Bringing those shoulder blades back. Shooting the headlights, the hips, towards that short edge of the mat. Inhaling the opposite arm up over the head. Bringing that back leg up. This feels good. And you can stay here, or if it needs to feel good to stay here, stay here. We all start somewhere. If there's a wall nearby, you need it, go for it. Inhaling and tipping forward to what feels good for you. Allowing yourself to find that drishti, that visual point. Surrendering as you're rooting down. Opening up that root chakra. Connecting to yourself. Exhaling. Gently coming back down. Gently, don't rush it. That's the thing. Our mind tries to chime in and say, I'm done, I've done it. Roll it out. Shake out those arms. Woo! Good work. Beautiful work. You are amazing. Tuning in for our peak pose, our tree pose. Vrikshasana, the ultimate tree, rooting into the earth. Rooting into those feet, finding our mountain stance. Powering up through the soles of the feet, ankles, knees, standing up to the hips, tuning into the pelvis. If it's too tilted forward or too far back, finding a nice neutral pelvis, and slightly tilting that pelvis inwards, like you're tilting a bowl, just a little bit. Not so much that it's all like this, not so much that it's that. Tuning into what it feels like right here. Powering through, choosing a foot to start with, checking into that drishti, holding the word surrender, letting go into the heart center. Allowing yourself, bringing the opposite foot, that heel up, just letting it sit here on the ankle as you tune in, tuning into this leg. In this tree pose, tuning into this hip if it's falling out or the knees falling out, finding that inner strength, that inner wisdom that you have, because we're becoming more trusting of ourselves. We're trusting that we can do this. Visualizing us doing this beautiful tree pose. And if you don't have the perfect visualization, just imagine a tree rooted into the earth. It's thick, it's healthy, it's plentiful, branches everywhere. The sky is beautiful. The grass is surrounding it. It's safe, it's comfortable in its environment. And so are you. Inhaling to where it feels comfortable, powering up through that leg, powering up through the opposite leg, feeling a soft bend in the knee. If it feels good, staying on the calf, avoiding the knee. If you're feeling more powerful, equally powering up through the opposite leg, planting it into that little nook, that little space between the thigh. And I usually wear slippery pants, so it gets a little tricky. Powering into the opposite leg, allowing that hip to stretch out, opening up, peeling open our book and feeling what it feels like right here to be rooted. Imagining our branches, finding that drishti, that vocal point. And if you are slipping, that's okay. Slip it on down. I'm slipping, but I'm coming back up, baby. Finding that drishti, coming back up. These pants will not allow me to slip. Feeling power, equally charging back and forth. My pants are so slippery, I have to go into figure four. Tuning into what feels good, finding that figure four or that tree pose. Figure four is going to be the same thing, just rooting those arms into the earth like a tree, rooting down. And if your pants are slippery, it's fine. Improvise, make it work. If you're feeling wobbly, tuning back in, we're losing our presence. Become present. Hands to undulate mudra at the heart center. Finding a nice deep back breath into the root chakra. Exhaling the arms straight up to the sky. Flowing your branches as you're feeling your roots are so deep into the earth. You're rooted so deep into the earth. Exhaling slowly, releasing, rolling out, letting go. Oh, shake it out. Beautiful work. Staying slippery pants in the tree pose. I need to invent something like that's your job, to plant my foot on the inside of my pants. A little gripper. There's your $1 million idea. Inhaling, rooting to the opposite foot into the earth. Tuning into the opposite leg. Visualizing. Tuning in, setting up our tree pose. Tuning into our ankle, our knee, our hip. Powering through the core. Elongating the spines, rolling the shoulder back. Checking into the neck, what feels good in the arms. If it feels good to power up onto the calf, staying right here, a soft bend in the opposite knee. Powering up, going past those slippery pants. Planting equally into the nook of the leg. Powering up, peeling open your book. A soft bend in the knee. Undulate mudra, opening the heart center. Rooting down, growing our branches. Allowing our branches to be free. Here. Oh, no slippery pants, you will not slip with me. Tuning in, sprinkling those fingers down where it was so rooted here. Allowing our hands to come back to the earth. Powering down equally, allowing ourselves to melt back down. Rooted down into the earth. Feeling what it feels like here. Free, free to be you. Tuning in to the short edge of the mat for a nice power pose of Virabhadrasana 3. Imagining, again, we're rooted down, we're strong. But maybe our roots separate a little bit. We're going to separate here. And there's a few different options. One is on your knees. If you're feeling a little tired, root down. On the knees, lifting one arm and the opposite leg up. Allowing that opposite leg to fall over that midsection, reaching back. Grabbing for that foot, powering up, opening the arms and the opposite hip. Virabhadrasana 3 on the mat. Hopping or stepping up. A little bit more. A little stronger pose, Virabhadrasana 3. Rooting down to the opposite leg, flying the arms out to the side. Powering down and flying forward. That's another option. Flying forward. Another option is hands behind the back, flying forward. Powering down, remember, like we're doing an airplane, how are you going to take off? Power feels good here. And if you're feeling the ultimate strength, if you want that ultimate butt kicker, it's powering down and bringing the arms straight above. Choose to your comfort and what feels good. Inhaling in, tuning into that drishti. Wiggling out the hips, maybe shaking it out, doing a little boxer shuffle. Boxer shuffle, maybe doing a few little boxer moves, a few uppercuts, side cuts. Swinging through to the surrender. Yes. Inhaling, powering down through those feet. Checking in, feeling what feels good. Coming in for your takeoff. Taking off, hinging at the hips, keeping, powering through the 4 points of the foot, tuning down to that drishti. Breathing deeply, 3 breaths. Creating some shakti tones, some energy between the toes. Feeling strength, removing the wrinkles from your neck. Peering down at that drishti. You are strong. Holding that integrity of the knee and the hip. Maybe growing up a little bit if you can. Holding up, peeling the opposite hip open. Inhaling, surrender. Let go, pose. You will not overcome us. Exhaling, gently back up, gently. I know our mind is going to want to let us zoom out of that as fast as we can. Shaking out, feeling the work we have done. Good job. So proud of you for showing up. I totally am getting that bliss out. That yoga bliss, that high on life. Do you get that? Oh, I'm feeling that now. It's feeling so good. Find the opposite foot, rolling that ankle. Maybe making a little chicken wings. I love to hula hoop. Maybe hula hooping it out. Feeling it. Don't psych yourself out. Just let go. Surrender. Surrender, friends. Surrender. Placing that opposite leg and feeling. You don't have to stay the same. You can try the more in-depth one, or if that was killing you or kicking your butt today, get down on those knees and go for that ground one. We're rooting into the earth. It doesn't matter how you get there. Just have an open heart and be open to rooting down, my friends. Rooting. I'm a total dork ball. Finding that takeoff. What feels good? I know when I originally got into yoga, this is one of my favorite poses. This is the flying one. I feel like a child on an airplane. Rooting down, finding that drishti. Powering up through that back leg and that hip. Tuning into everything from the foot to the ankle to the knee to the hip. Flying here. That feels good. You can also put your hands at your side like you really are flying, removing the wrinkles from the neck. You might find one side is stronger than the other, and that's okay. Doing what feels good. If you fall out, come back up. Take a moment. Let go of judgment here. Allowing yourself to be, and you can totally move your arms. Breathing in 3 surrendering movements. You've got this. You're strong. Your spine is elongated. You're shooting energy from the hind foot to the front. Exhale. Let go. I'm sweating. I'm heating up. Woo! My body just kicked off. Woo! Good job. We did it. Exhaling down. I'm feeling the kind of boxer shuffle energy. Moving back and around. Shaking out. Good job. You are freaking amazing. I'm so inspired. So feeling amazing. Letting go. This is a Qigong inspired movement, and it's actually called shaking. And it's just creating energy. So start with your right arm and shake out that right hand. Don't care what you look like. If someone's watching you, say, jet yourself or shake yourself out and let your energy go. And it's loosening the joint at the hand and loosen at the elbow and loosen and just let it go. It feels so amazing. It almost feels like your hand is disconnected from your body. Allowing that body to slowly cool down after all that hard work. I'm just gently walking my feet out to what feels good. You can either incorporate the other hand, let this arm rest a little bit. For me, my mind is like, too many things going on, too many cooks in the kitchen. So that left arm, I'm a righty, so my left arm, I feel like I have to focus on. So it's bringing that awareness and attention to letting go and relaxing. And if you move enough, you can really feel that energy pulsing through, moving through that hand. Beautiful work. And then now moving to the right foot, shaking at the ankle. It's almost like a dog. You see a dog have an itch where they shake and it's just shaking, and you're still rooting down. We're always rooted down into the earth no matter what it is we're doing. The earth is supporting us. We have this same gravity here on earth. Letting go that foot. Woo. Yes. Letting go of that opposite foot, rooting down, pushing it through those 4 points. And letting go as you root down, tuning in. That's good. Just moving around. Moving around, down, step up. And tuning into the whole body. Stretching up, lifting up, powering up to the sky. Elongating. And then dropping at the heels and then just shake down. And on those pads of the feet, the fronts of the feet, allow yourself to just shake and let go. Who cares what you look like? Shake it on down. We're moving our energy down. We're cooling our body, cooling our system. We're still kind of warm, but we're cooling down. Moving down. I can feel my butt cheeks flapping together. Oh, you feel that? Moving down. Beautiful work. One last time. Lifting straight up to the ceiling and just maybe doing just like a let go. You can move your feet around, jump up and down, hop around, and reaching straight up and then dropping down. Straight up. Beautiful work. Dropping down. Good job. You are amazing. You are amazing. Exhaling. Find a movement that's going to bring you back down to your mat. So I know our body is feeling warm. It's warmed up and raring to go. But it's time to cool down and come down. So moving down, hinging at the hips maybe, swaying. I've done a lot of swaying and rocking with 3 children. My oldest is 8, my youngest is 3. So this is like not only the maternal movement, but it's like my primordial movement. Like Om's the primordial sound of the universe. My primordial movement is swaying. Gotta keep those babies asleep or whatever it is that takes you to get down. Hinging at the hips, coming down. Maybe crouching down here. And twisting in the legs and feeling what it feels like. All of that energy we created. Coming back down, bouncing. Maybe twisting, coming down to those sit bones. And if you have a blanket and you want to fold it under your back, feel free. That's wonderful. Rooting in, because we're rooting, we're opening. Are you feeling more rooted and open? Are you imagining that red? Is that red encompassing you, or are you having a hard time? If you are, it's okay. Sometimes it takes a few times. Revisit this video as many times as you need. Rolling back those shoulders, that spine, and bringing it back up, rolling down. Exhaling and rolling like a string of mala beads falling onto the mat. Gently as you can. Spinal, vertebrae by shoulders. And coming down for our final poses of relaxation. Allowing those soles of the feet to come down. Now we're rooted. We're so rooted in our feet, in our back. All of our vertebrae are rooted. Feel what it feels like to compress all of your vertebrae all into the earth versus letting that middle section, the lumbar section, come up. Feel what it feels like, the difference in your neck. Feel what it feels like to try to do this. It's not natural to try to dig our neck down because naturally our neck has this beautiful arch. Hugging those knees up to the chest. Rolling them in a small circle. Cooling, calming. Beautiful work. Such beautiful work. Cooling and cooling. Maybe swaying back and forth, exhaling. This is also known as the double wind reliever because it does it just like it cools you down. It relieves your wind. To me, translation, just bringing my breath down. Exhaling the left leg down to the earth. Inhaling the right knee. Imagine there's an invisible wall at each of the soles of those feet, and your job is to power up through those 4 points like that, like we're moving through there. Inhaling, chin, nose, or forehead to the knee. Holding for 2 delicious breaths. Exhale. Inhaling a sense of trust and surrender. Exhaling down to the mat, trust and surrender. Inhaling up to the knee, the chin, the nose, or the forehead. Inhaling trust. Exhaling trust. Inhaling the root chakra color of red. Exhaling the root chakra color of red. Exhaling down to the mat. One more inhale. Breathing in red. 2 breaths. Beautiful work. Exhaling down. Allowing the opposite foot to drop down to the earth. Trading, hugging the opposite leg. And allowing that heel to slide forward, letting the leg root down the whole back of the calf. The thigh is rooted to the earth, tuning into those ankles. Maybe giving a little roll, that feels good. Find a movement that feels good rolling. Inhaling, tucking the chin up to the knee, the nose, and the forehead. Inhaling that ability to surrender and let go. Inhale, letting go. Exhale. One more at your own rate. Exhaling down to the mat. Taking one delicious breath here. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Inhaling the sense of surrender. Exhaling surrender. One more breath. Beautiful work. Exhaling. One breath down. Breathing up. Squeezing 3 of your own breaths at your own rate. Exhaling, melting down, lifting both knees up to the chest, spreading them apart for a happy baby, either grabbing the inside of the big toe between the pointer and the big toe with your 2 fingers, kind of locking in, or you could grab the inside of your feet or the outside of your feet. Honestly, go by what feels good, because I feel like this pose is different for all body types. And if your spine is digging into the mat, a good idea would be to grab a blanket and put it under for support. And allowing yourself to just let go and rock this happy baby. Have you seen it? Have you seen a baby do this? Grabbing their feet, just like, they can almost like sumo squat their legs all the way up to their ears. Finding that inner joy, that inner, all that hard work we've done, and now we're here laying, and it's so peaceful and amazing. Summoning that inner power to be so rooted down that you are able to trust yourself again. You're opened up to new aspects of yourself. Exhaling, rocking back and forth. Allowing yourself to just be those words, happy baby. Maybe visualizing a happy baby. I see the chubby cheeks, even the 2 bottom teeth. Exhale. Gently removing the fingers from the legs, bringing the legs back together and slowly releasing them down to the earth. Sliding the legs forward for our final pose of relaxation. Savasana. Allowing from the heels of your feet that are so rooted into the earth to melt down. Allowing your legs from the calves to the back of the knee to melt deeper. Melting the butt, the booty, the back, melting down. All the vertebrae, melting the shoulders, even the outsides of the elbows, the arms, even the outsides of the fingers, melting down in the shoulders, the back of the head, and melting down. Allowing yourself to feel rooted and deeply surrendering to what is. Feeling the openness here. So you take the next moments to surrender. I recommend at least 5 to 10 minutes. I love Savasana for at least 7. Being here, allowing yourself to let it go. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you for showing up. You kicked some major thing. You were on it. You were amazing. I love you. I love you. And allow yourself to hold that vision and hold the intention that you can open up any energy source that you want. I love you so much, my dear friends.
Yeah.
Namaste. The spiritual abilities of the root chakra, the Muladhara's intuitive capabilities include physical empathy, sensing others' bodily sensations or physical needs, which I am very much that. Psychometry, granting of knowledge through touch, telekinesis, moving objects with the mind, levitation, I want to do this, floating objects in the air, pyrokinesis, setting fires with the mind, dowsing, finding objects or water in the ground, clairtingency, touching what isn't present, clairgustance, smelling that isn't present, and more. The related auric field to our root chakra is the first auric field is inside and outside of the skin. Sending you so much love and peace and so much happiness. I love you.